Alright, what up blockchain nation, what up YouTube. Thank you so much for taking the time to subscribe to this channel, All Things Blockchain. Once again, my name is Remy. I want to say a big thank you. Alright, so today I'm going to take a look at, just talk about a resource online, which is DApp University. DApp University is run by a guy named Gregory. Let me just quickly go to his YouTube channel. So here we go, this is he. Gregory is a rock star. Please subscribe to his channel and you'll learn a lot about how to build decentralized apps on the Ethereum blockchain. Like I was saying, I did a video recently about the fastest way to become a blockchain developer. I know some people looked at that video and they were like, "How dare you! Open his head!" Yeah, but it will get you up to speed on how to become a blockchain developer. But this is also a very, very good resource. Why this is good is it goes further into details of how to build your first DApp on Ethereum. So I'll just go over this resource. I'll put a link below and then we'll just do a quick walkthrough on the environment that you have to have available when you are creating dApps on Ethereum. So if you're ready, say I'm ready. So this is the ultimate Ethereum DApp, how to build a full stack decentralized application step by step. So what I'm just going to go over just basically is the prerequisites and the first part of this tutorial, which will just confirm that you, like a smoke test basically, to confirm that your environment is cool and is up and running. So if you're ready, say I'm ready. So first of all, it goes over what is a blockchain. Right, what is a blockchain? It just goes over how you have to have your basic web application that runs within your browser, and it shows you a blockchain, which is just a collection of nodes and how these work together, your browser with your interacting with these nodes, which is your smart contract will run on the blockchain ledger and you interact with it through your front end, which is your HTML, CSS and your JavaScript running within your browser. So here's what Gregory built, which was basically a voting DApp, which I think is really, really cool. So like I said, we're just going to go over the first part of this tutorial, which is just to make sure that your environment is running, and then you can go and check this out directly and see how good and great this is. I know somebody's wondering, why can't I just go to Gregory's website myself? You can. This is just to help you, just in case you have any issues, so you can come back and reference this video, because I believe Gregory made this a while ago. And if you can run it by yourself, then great. You don't have to watch this video. You can just go directly to Gregory's website and do it, or website yourself. But if you have some challenges, then you can come here. So I'm running on Windows. If you're running on the Mac, you're good. But if you're running on Windows, you want to install this Docker container, which is so cool. You can go to Docker official website and install this Docker for Windows. What I love about this is you can run Linux commands. As you can see, this is a Linux command which lists you directly on Windows, which I think is just so sexy. So first of all, we'll check to see if we have our version of Node, which is what it's asking us, to make sure that we have the right version of Node. And as you can see, we have Node version 4, which is cool. So then the next thing it asks us to do is to install the Truffle framework. So you can just install this by just doing this, but I'm sure we already have Truffle installed already because I've already done this before. So npm install Truffle globally is what this is doing, and this is going to take a minute to install. While that's installing, the next thing is there's a dependency called Ganache. So you install Ganache by downloading it from the Truffle framework website. So I already have Ganache installed. I'll just show you what that looks like. If you check the previous video I did on the consensus job kit, you'd see that Ganache is also mentioned as one of the things you need to have. So this is Ganache. This is just basically a local, allows you to test your smart contracts by having a local testnet, a local Ethereum. So this is running on my laptop directly, as opposed to having to connect to a testnet. So also make sure that you have MetaMask installed. As you can see right here, I have MetaMask, which is a Google Chrome extension. If only MetaMask will come up today sometime. But if you want to install MetaMask, just go over to your browser, and it's a Chrome extension. You can just click here. Then you need to have an ID that allows you, that has some syntax highlighting for the Solidity programming language. What I do personally, what I like to use is Visual Studio Code. You just have to make sure that you have the right extensions installed. So this. All right, so Truffle has been installed. As you can see, this is great. So just to go back to our, so the first thing we did was check our node version, which was cool. Then we installed Truffle, which is great. We have Ganache. Ganache is installed right here. This is Ganache. And lastly, MetaMask extension, which is not coming up. As you can see, this little fox shows you that I have MetaMask. For some reason, my browser is hanging. And also, we have to have syntax highlighting, an ID that highlights your Solidity syntax, which is here. I have this Visual Studio Code, and as you can see, let me just show you, I have all these extensions that are enabled, and one of them will be Solidity. So this is the extension that I installed. You can install this as well, so that when you're writing Solidity syntax, it gives you, it highlights all the syntax. So when you're doing Solidity, writing Solidity, using Solidity to write smart contracts, what's going on with me today? It highlights the syntax. So right, let's do the smoke test. So this is all we're going to do for this. Then you can go further, you can proceed to Gregory's website, and you can follow through on the rest of the tutorial. So we've downloaded Ganache, and let's go right here. So first thing we do is, we create a directory, and we call it a project directory, and we'll call it election. So let's just do that. So here I am. I'll go to my container, to my Docker, and I make a directory, call it election. So let's list. This is the directory I just created, election. This is the old smoke test, or I downloaded this from Gregory's website, which you can always refer to if you have any issues. So the next thing we do is we change to that folder that we just created. So I just say cd election. Then after I do that, we now, use this Truffle box, which is a pet shop box. When I do this, you'll see what it's all this about. So Truffle unbox pet shop, which is existing code that we can use. So unbox pet shop in my election directory. So while that is going on, yeah, so as you can see, it's downloading in my election directory. Let me just show you what that looks like. So this is our election directory that we created, and so when we unbox the pet shop, it gives us all these contracts, migrations, blah blah blah, and all these config files, which I think is really, really cool. So we don't really have to do much. It's pretty much done everything for us once we unbox this. As you can see, the pet shop gives us migrations, initial gives us all this stuff. Contracts directory, migrations directly, and the rest. So all that is good. So when that is done, let's see if this is done. Let's wait a minute and let's get this to finish. All right, so as you can see, unbox pet shop has finished, and let's look at what that looks like. So from here, we can just be like, so as you can see, in the election it created, when we ran the unbox pet shop, it went and created all these for us, the contracts folder, the migrations folder. So if you go back to here, it says when you unbox the pet shop, here's what it gives us: contracts, migrations, and all these other wonderful stuff. And this explains in details what all these files are for. All right, so let's go to the next part, which is in the contracts folder that is created. We're going to create this election.sol file. So if we do this, we just copy that, we just clear present working directory. We're still in our election file folder, excuse me. So while we're here, we'll just say touch. We're going to what this means. Touch contracts election SOL. We're saying in the contracts folder, which was created from above, create an election.sol file. That's what this means. So if we come here, this thing needs to work today. I don't know what's going on, guys. Today my laptop is just tired. Yeah, so it creates the election.sol, which is great. So we're going to start by creating a smoke test and ensure that we set up our project properly. So open this file and start with the following code. So the file that we just created, which is .sol, we will just open it from, let's open it from Visual Studio Code. So I'll come here, file, and I'll open folder. So I'm going to go to DAP University. This is the election folder that we just created. We're going to select folder. That's the elections folder that we just created with from the beginning of this tutorial. And this election.sol file that we created, we're going to now run this code within it. All right, so it's compiling our contracts. We just have to wait. As you can see, contracts are being compiled. When that is complete, we will now run this. Compilation failed. This source file requires different compiler version. So what does that mean? Let's go and look at this source file. Election.sol has 0.42. Let's look at migration. Oh, so there. Oh, it's good that you saw this, right? So this is going to help you. So the elections.sol has a different version from the migrations.sol. So let's make sure that they both have the same version. So since the migration.sol, this is 0.50, election is 0.42. We are going to bring the elections.sol up to date by just copying this and putting this here. So this is good that you're seeing this. I'm going to save that. Okay, so that's done. Now let's run this again. So we're going to run the truffle migrate once again. We're going to say truffle migrate. Now let's push this one. What's the error? This is shadows an existing declaration. Let's look at that. So we have election. No, that will be, election SOL. So the contract has the same as the constructor. That shouldn't be the case. So we're going to make this lowercase. That's fine. So migration SOL should be good. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to run this one more time. So truffle migrate. Let's watch this one. Compiling contracts once again. Compiling elections. So as you can see, finally it is compiled. Network names, development, network this, deploying, saving contract, and we have liftoff. Boom, 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 boom. So as you can see, it's compiled. So let's go to our local testnet. As you can see, the balance on our local testnet has reduced to 99.99 because of this contract that we just compiled, which is so cool. And the question to ask is, how is it that we are able to interact with Ganache? You can see that, let me just show you that real quick. If you go to settings, this is our port number 7554, this is our network ID, and this is our local host. So if you cancel this, you will see the same here in terms of, where are we? Network ID is 577, so it's interacting on our local host, which is just so cool, so cool. Alright guys, as you can see, we've deployed our smart contracts, and this is a smoke test just to show you that we are connecting perfectly to the to our Ganache environment. So that just shows that our contract, which we have created, where are you, our election.sol, is interacting with our migration at SOL, and we are able to interact with or connect to our local environment. As you can see, the balance is reduced. You can also confirm that by looking at this. If you see the address is one ends with 195, and then the account is EB15. If you come here, you can see that's the address, EB15, which is so cool. That's a private key, but basically it worked fine. So that's cool. Cool. So once again, the objective of this was just to walk through this setup and just go over the smoke test, which we've done. So this is a very cool tool that you can use, a good tutorial. You can go over the rest of it. I think it's a great one, and it's free, just to have an idea of how to write a small smart contract, which is this, that interacts with your local Ethereum environment, which is just very, very cool. So take your time and go over the rest of this, and also make sure you follow Gregory on Dapp University. And if this laptop will just stop freezing on me, here we go. Follow Gregory on Dapp University and take your time to go over the smoke test. This is the source code that you can also, in case you have any issues, you can just look at the code, which has all this stuff, the election of SOL and the two deploy contracts as well, which is just a small text. Anyways, until next time, my wish for you is that you learn about blockchain technology, because blockchain is changing and will change the world. And those who get involved early, in my personal opinion, will greatly impact the future. And if that's you, let's go change the world, baby.